Welcome, everybody, to Life in the World to Come. It's just me this week again, guys. We're going to be doing another driving around in the car episode. I'm going to turn down my AC because I'm worried you're not going to be able to hear me over the sound of air blasting into the back of the phone. It's just me this week, guys. Will just announced his new tour. He's going to be going on tour for the first time in 2 years. You can head on over to lifeintheworldtocome, I assume, to purchase tickets. They're selling out quick, so get on that. Go see my buddy Will live in concert for like most of like October, I think. I forget exactly when the dates are. I don't have the information ahead of me, and frankly, it wasn't on me to plug the tour anyway. I'm just doing it out of the kindness of my heart. It's not paying me to fucking plug him. Why do I not like this? I don't like this aggressive tone I've taken. I wanted to just be nice and plug the tour, but now I'm acting like Will fucking owes me something. He doesn't. And look, the point is that Will's on tour and you should go see him. Fuck. Welcome everybody to Life in the World to Come. Listen, so Will announced his tour yesterday, and he wants to make sure that he's on top of all that. So we're giving him the week off this week. We're giving him the week off so that he can focus on that and kind of like just kind of calmly deal with that part of his life. So it's just gonna be me this week. But guess what? Guess fucking what, everybody? Fucking the big boy needs a break too. Fucking, I've been sweating over a hot podcast for years, frankly, and I think I am just as deserving of a little R&R as anybody else. So that's what we're gonna do this week. I'm gonna fucking get through this. I'm gonna fucking hammer out some questions. I'm gonna do a good ass job, and I'm gonna do such a good ass job that after like half an hour, you're all gonna be like, you know what, this is enough. This was satisfying. That was enough of a podcast. I don't need there to be more. There could be more, but no, I've had enough. It's the perfect, I've had just enough of this kind of coffee cake that was served to me after this brunch. I've had just enough coffee cake that I feel fucking good as hell and not bloated and have a weird sugar headache from the coffee cake. That's what this episode is going to be. This episode is going to be the perfect amount of coffee cake after a filling brunch, where you're just like, I had enough. I don't need any more. And not because it's bad, not because I don't want more, but because I've had enough and I'm now satisfied. You guys understand how metaphors work, or should I keep explaining it? Anyway, I guess we get into questions right away. Unless did anything happen to me this week? Is there anything worth talking about? I'm going to pause it so it seems like I can immediately think of something. Alright, fuck it. I'm jumping right into questions. Hi, Will and Chris. I have a crippling Red Bull addiction. I know it's really bad for me, but I just can't help it. That got me thinking, will energy drink addiction still exist in the world to come? Moreover, will energy drinks even exist in the world to come? Or will we have to drink something else to get our caffeine chemical fix? Well, it's interesting that you bring this up. I have been thinking a bit about addiction lately. It's the sound of me locking my phone back into its little phone holder. I parked the car to read a question. So, addiction's a funny thing, right? I quit nicotine a little over a month ago at this point. I think it's like the 17th, a little over a month ago. And they tell you that nicotine addiction only lasts 2 to 4 weeks. And that might be true, you know? The nicotine is out of my body at this point. There's not a drop of nicotine left. And yet the rat lawyer has not stopped his work. Nicotine as a corporate entity has gone bankrupt within my brain. And yet that fucking lawyer is like, no worries, baby. I'm gonna fucking work this case pro bono. It's been a month and I can't drive past a 7-Eleven without going, oh. I mean, why not? You know? Actually, that's not true. It's not that I'm like tempted to do nicotine. It's just that there are so many like quiet moments that I still just be like, I'm still like, and now's the part where I consume nicotine, you know? Like I'm just alone I'm just like in my car driving around, and it's this would be, I wish I had nicotine. It doesn't go away. And I think that what I've found out is that, like, you know, we assigned that role, you know, to that role of rat lawyer to specifically nicotine brain. And Alan Carr is the easy way. That stupid, that dumb seminar, that dumb but very effective seminar that me and Will watched to make us quit smoking. They also do that. They personify nicotine addiction as this weird little guy, this weird little kind of fucked up, nasty guy, this kind of weird little cartoon gremlin in your brain, and a big part of it is basically killing the little monster. They call it the little monster, right? And that if you just like, anytime that your brain says, I want nicotine, that isn't really you. That's not really your brain, right? That's the little monster, which is created and generated by nicotine, tricking you, right? Lying to you, telling you that, you know, that you found pleasure in something that you didn't actually find pleasure in, because it wants you, because it's nicotine, and that's what nicotine does. It wants you to do more nicotine. I don't think that that's completely accurate. I don't think that nicotine creates the little monster. I think the little monster already lives inside of you, and you can't kill the little monster like the easy way wants you to. That's what they say. Is like every time that you don't smoke, you're killing the little monster, and after a month, the little monster shrivels up and dies. No, he fucking doesn't. You're the monster. Do you understand? You've always been the monster. The monster is just you. The monster is just the part of your brain that I guess wants to die, but like in a fun way, right? The little monster is the part of your brain that would give up literally fucking anything for just like 10 seconds of 10 seconds of endorphins. That's it. Just like a brief little blast of serotonin, and I would throw it all away. That's what the rat lawyer is, and he already lives inside you. Nicotine didn't invent him, okay? He's just there. What was my fucking point? God, I want to vape so bad. My point is, I'll get there. I'll figure out what my fucking point is. My point is that, listen, it doesn't. My point is that it doesn't matter whether or not there's going to be Red Bull, right? Because Red Bull, at the end of the day, that's the thing about addiction, is that Red Bull's not the problem, you are. God, I hope this is all fine to say. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. That's the problem with addiction, is that you're the fucking problem. You know? We could do all this personification, all the personification we want. Imagine a weird little gray little booger man. This is what he looks like. He's actually, honestly, the little monster in Alan Carr's The Easy Way. Maybe look him up. He's very charming. When he finally dies in the movie, I screamed, no! Because I loved him so much. But listen, you can't, my point is that you can't kill the little monster. Like, it doesn't matter whether or not you have access to Red Bull. The problem is not that you want Red Bull. The problem is that you want to die. That's the problem, is that short-term gratification will always be so much more appealing than long-term satisfaction, because long-term satisfaction usually doesn't look like happiness until a while from now. Short-term satisfaction is immediate. It's beautiful. It's great. Oh God, short-term satisfaction is so good. You want to be satisfied, and then you are. What's better than that? Of course you want that. No one's blaming you. What am I talking about? So, I guess what I'm saying is, I mean, is there going to be Red Bull? No, but I'm sure you'll find something. I'm sure that there'll be some toad you can lick that'll get you all fucking jacked up in a way that isn't necessarily comparable to Red Bull. It's not going to do the same thing that Red Bull did, but at the end of the day, you weren't really looking for that. You weren't really looking to get jacked up. You just wanted a vice, because having a vice is fucking cool as hell, and it feels good. It feels good to have a cool vice. And I still smoke a lot of weed, but it's so much more of a commitment than nicotine. You know? Like, I still love weed, but like, God, I miss being able to casually puff on something and not having it like destroy my brain, you know? That was the other thing when I was doing nicotine, I was consuming less THC. You know? I forget if I've said this on the podcast. I do think nicotine is good for focus. I'll say it. I'll fucking say it. I think there's an alternate universe pretty close to this one where they just fucking hand fucking jewels to fucking ADHD kids. Like, I think it would work. I think they'd all get popcorn lung and die, but they would die fucking focused. Should I move on? I don't know if anything I've said has been coherent or has made any sense, but I feel like I'm just kind of talking myself into getting back into fucking vapes. I'm not going to get back into vapes. I know I'm not going to, because like I keep thinking about how badly I want them, but then I just imagine going out and buying one, and it's the saddest, most pathetic. Like, I can't get past imagining buying one. Like, there's no way. Because if I go out and buy a Juul at this point, that's me. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like, it seems like the stupidest thing in the world to do. And right now, I guess I'm smart enough to understand that it's the stupidest thing in the world and have that thought be more of a priority than this stupid fucking rat lawyer that apparently, never even worked for nicotine. It's just a guy in my brain who is a bad influence. So yeah, I think I answered this one good. All right, next question. Ugh. Hello, Chris and Will. There's two guys I've been kind of into recently. They're both really sweet, and I don't know if they like each other very much. What will happen? What should I do? How do I solve this in the world to come? The world to come. Well, okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Modern day, this is pretty straightforward. Either it depends on how charming you are, right? You gotta do one of two things. You gotta either A, pick. You gotta fucking either shit or get off the pot. Figure out which one of these sweet boys is the sweetest. Is the sweetest fruit. Which of these fruits is the sweetest? And then you take a big juicy bite out of that one, okay? But if you're the more polyamorous type and you're very charming, you gotta parent trap your two boyfriends. You gotta set up a variety of cute dates for your two boyfriends, put them together. But this is all modern day bullshit that doesn't matter because it's all going to be over soon. In the apocalypse, listen, there is no polyamory in the apocalypse because the idea of you knowing two guys, fucking unreasonable. There's going to be no polyamory, not because it's frowned upon for ethical reasons, but just because it's a matter of supply and demand, right? Like if you have two boyfriends in the world to come, that's selfish. That's selfish and rude, and you should share. Okay? You're hoarding. You got two boyfriends in the apocalypse. That's you hoarding wealth. And the fucking communists are going to come to your house, and they're going to demand that you fucking return the means of production back to them. And you're going to be like, I don't understand how this metaphor doesn't extend to me having too many boyfriends. And they're going to be like, that doesn't make sense. You didn't create these boyfriends, and therefore you have no ownership over them. This isn't like a wealth thing. People aren't money. And they're going to be like, give us your fucking boyfriends. You fucking bougie fuck. Out here swimming in boyfriends. And there's a fucking drought on. There's a fucking boyfriend drought. We got people crawling across the desert. Their throats parched. Thinking, please, just a single drop of boyfriend. Just a single drop. And you won't give them one? You won't give them one of your 2 boyfriends? Wealth is meant to be shared with the people. You gotta pimp out your 2 boyfriends. It's the right thing to do. Where have I landed on this? I feel like how has it only been 3 minutes? How was I able to just just as soon as I started talking about fucking nicotine, I went into a fugue state and I looked up and basically 9 minutes had passed. I feel like I've been talking for 10,000 years on this one and it's been 3.5 minutes. Like, Jesus Christ. What was I saying? So you gotta listen. Yeah. I guess what I'm saying is if you're going to have 2 boyfriends, you're going to want to do it now. Because you might be able to get away with having 2 boyfriends in the apocalypse, but people are going to look down at you for it. In the same way that they might look down at you for like buying like a big piece of beachfront property that you don't need when there are people starving, elsewhere in town, right? Like maybe spend that money on like your, donate it to like your local soup kitchen or something. Instead of buying that big house. And if in case people aren't understanding the metaphor, I guess, just so what and also I guess I should say it out loud so that I know that I understand the metaphor. What the fuck? So what am I saying? I guess is that you gotta like, in this metaphor, the beach front house is your second boyfriend, and the homeless people is some sad loser who can't get a man, and you gotta listen. Help out your community. Share your boyfriends. I'm gonna listen back to this question and make sure it's good. Dear Chris and Will, I actively post on Pinterest. I'm gonna put my fucking blinker off. That's gotta be distracting. Also, am I still recording? Is it still going? Does it continue to record even after Okay. Dear Chris and Will, I actively post on Pinterest and have a decent following, but my selfies are getting much more love and attention than my art. I do enjoy the praise, but I wish my art would get some recognition. In the world to come, will it be more useful to be pretty or to be good at drawing? Thanks, Sonia. Well, first of all, Sonia, I just it's the... that's a thing on Pinterest? I mean, I had no idea that people did. I feel like, are you allowed to, this is crazy. Are you allowed to post selfies on Pinterest? You must be, but I've simply never seen one. I've never, I feel like Pinterest is exclusively just photos of people's jewelry that they made and stuff, people's, I'm sure your stuff is great, but it's mostly just people's strange art, what did you say you do? You said you're good at drawing. Okay, that's fine. I feel like most of the stuff I see on Pinterest is here's I make dolls, I make stuffed dolls on my own. Here are my many stuffed dolls, and you will never see my face. Under no circumstances will I ever show you my face, only my beautiful dolls. But no, yeah, the drawing for sure is going to be more important. I mean, I've been beating this drum nonstop since the beginning of the podcast. Fucking nobody's going to be pretty. Or at the very least, the idea that you're ever going to meet someone who lines up with your idea of pretty, or the fact that you might line up your idea of pretty, it's like winning the lottery 20 times in a row. Okay, the radiation's going to do all kinds of stuff to your fucking, to your butt and your boobs and whatnot, and just make them confusing. It's not going to make them bigger or smaller. Just make them weird and just strange and macabre. They're not gonna be butts or boobs anymore, and your face is and also your face, some bad stuff's gonna happen. So the point is that listen, no one's gonna be pretty, but if you can draw real good, if you can draw real good, and get and get like one of those like rollout, like for some reason we still sell like scrolls of paper. If you go to like a Michael's or something, they usually have like a big like scroll of just drawing paper that you can unfurl in case you need like 20 feet of just regular paper. You can do that. You could draw a very beautiful woman on that thing of paper and just hang it from your head. And people will know that they're looking at a drawing of a beautiful woman, but you'll still be hotter than basically anyone they've ever seen. So like, if you're at all concerned with like being pretty, which honestly doesn't sound like your biggest priority, but if you care about that at all, fucking drawing's got that covered. So I would definitely pick the drawing, you know? Because then you have all the benefits of being good as hell at drawing. And if you ever do need to be hot, just fucking draw a hot lady and drape the drawing over yourself. Like you're like a kind of like a scary ghost. Like a scary ghost if the ghost had a beautiful woman drawn on the sheet, you know? That's pretty, I think, and then you're fucking set for life. And you can keep posting whatever you want on Pinterest. I also feel like, also for the record, I feel like I don't see a lot of drawings on Pinterest either. Not a lot of selfies, not a lot of drawings, again. And I'm not a big Pinterest person, but I feel like every time it's Pinterest, it's just like weird jewelry and dolls. Just like people's creepy art. Creepy art, but presented in the most like sterile, like white people way that you could possibly imagine, you know? Just the scariest art you've ever seen presented in a way where they're like, that where they don't know it's scary, and the people observing it also don't know it's scary. They all just think that they all think they're normal and they're fucking not. That's my experience with Pinterest. And you can keep doing that stuff forever and it's gonna be fine. But yeah, it's definitely the drawing for sure. Fucking pretty privilege is gone in the world to come. It's not going to be a thing anymore. You get nothing for being pretty because you won't be pretty. You know, you'll be fucking weird looking. And it's honestly, it's great. It's the great equalizer. It's going to be nice. Yeah, that one's good. Sure. Okay. Hi, Chris and Will. Oh fuck, I lost it. Oh no, I lost the question. I had the question, and then I accidentally clicked off of it. This sucks. I had it. It's gone now. There it is. Hi, Chris and Will. Because of the uprising of AI recently, it had me curious. What will become of AI in the world to come? Will it overtake humans? I mean, overtake is a loaded way of thinking about it, right? Like, they're not gonna, like, we're still stuck on this thing that it's like, there's this very us or them mentality when it comes to AI, right? And that is accurate, because ultimately it will be us or them, but, like, I still don't like the word overtaking, because it implies that they're going to be, you know, the thing that pushes them over the edge is the fact that they will become better at doing what we do than us. And that, I don't think, is ever going to be true. An AI is never going to be as good as a human at doing the things that humans are good at, you know? Because, like, by the nature of how it works, AIs can only ever be mediocre, right? Like, the way that conversational AI works is by doing an average of every possible conversation that it could have with you. You know? The way that fucking it's generating the sentence on the fly, right? It looks at everything it has so far, and the word that comes next is the word that is most likely to come next statistically, based on all of the information that it has. So it's like, it's designed to be middle of the road, you know? It can never be great. It can only ever be average. And yet, people don't treat it that way. They treat it like it's there, because for so many years we've been spoon-fed this narrative by sci-fi that these things are going to take us over, right? And so we're just kind of, we're our brains are kind of pre-programmed to think of AI as being smarter than us already, right? Like that, if an AI can do something that we can do, that means that they can do it better than how we can do it. But that's just kind of like, that's not true. Like, that's literally not how they work. The best AI can never be better than the best human when it comes to just like writing, right? When it comes to like communicating. And that's what we're really talking about, you know? Like there's all this other stuff that like actually makes that AI is actually good at, which is like doing math really quickly. But like, you know, all the decision making stuff, like the decision making still just trees. It'll still all just come down to trees, right? I don't know. I feel like I'm jumping all over the place, but like I think what people don't understand is that like we haven't stepped away from decision trees. Like you look at what an AI is now, and you think that like it's like, oh, that it's like something different than what we had before, but it isn't really. Like the way that those things think is fundamentally the same as anything we've ever done before, which is just, you know, yes, no, 1, 0. There is no room for ambiguity in these things' minds. Like it's the same thing as it always was. The difference is that like it's harder to look inside the box and actually tell exactly what's going on. But we know the basics of it. And then it's just you know, it's just rolling dice. Like, or again, no, it's not rolling dice. It's like, again, it's giving you what the most likely answer is. It's using, you can use statistics to hold a conversation, apparently. There's this, and I hope that you're allowed to call it this still, but there was a thought experiment called the Chinese room, right? Which is this idea that, well, it's basically, the idea is that the point of the thought experiment is to prove that you can have something that holds a conversation without having something that thinks, right? Like, actual consciousness is not required to be able to converse with someone. And we take that, we kind of take that for granted now, living in like fucking the AI world that we live in now. But we've been thinking about this for a while. This is an old concept. The idea of the Chinese room is, imagine that you don't speak a lick of Chinese. You have no idea how Chinese works. You've never spoken it before in your life. But you've been locked in a room, and inside that room is every single piece of Chinese text that's ever been put down. All of it. Like every written instance of like Cantonese that exists is with you in this room. And the theory is that if you spend enough time studying how those words relate to each other, not what they mean, but how they relate to each other, like how they are generally structured, right? Like if you understand how statistically, like how you put all those words together and how they're most likely to be arranged, then someone outside of the room could write you a message in Cantonese, slip that message under the door, and then you could write a message back to them, a message that is a direct response to their whatever they wrote to you. You could write it back, they would understand what you're saying, but you wouldn't have to understand what you said. That's the idea of the Chinese room, right? And that's what these are. Is and that's the thing is the guy inside the Chinese room, operating the inside of the Chinese room, does not speak Chinese. That guy is not aware of the conversation in any capacity. That guy is just running an algorithm. And that's exactly what the computer is doing. These things aren't smart. They're just running an algorithm and giving you the most likely thing. And so okay, how do I turn this into a joke? We're all gonna basically I keep getting these fucking ads for this. All of this is to say. This is all I really wanted to say throughout that whole fucking thing, is that I keep getting these goddamn ads for this fucking AI, it's like writers love it, and it's like this service that like, this, and they're so proud of it in all of their things. This like fucking guy, this CEO, he's in all their videos and he's so proud of himself. It's like, this is an AI that just writes novels and writers love it. Which writers? Which writers like this AI that writes novels? Where are they? Name their names. Give me their addresses so I can speak to them. If this thing, shit like that is going to come out. Shit like that's going to come out, this fucking thing that, like, this AI that just writes novels for you, and all stories are going to be so fucking mediocre and so fucking boring that we're going to shoot ourselves in the head. Entertainment will die. It won't be fun anymore, and 90% of the human population will kill themselves, and that's how the AI take over. Not on purpose, not because they hate us, but just because we thought that they were better than they were, and it ruined our lives. That's the AI evolution, is that we're just going to keep putting these things in more and more things that they're not qualified for, and life is going to get worse as a result. I just spent 8 minutes just I think I just got mad and rambled. I don't know if any of that had anything to do with anything. God, I hope that's keepable. All right. Okay. I just got booked to sing at a Kamala Harris fundraiser. And afterwards, there's a meet and greet with the social studies teacher himself. What wise apocalypse advice should I give to our possible future vice president? Don't make me do this right now. Don't make me do this right now. In what world is this whole question just not me clowning on Kamala and what's his name? Okay, just wait. Can we just wait until December when this is all over and it doesn't matter anymore? You know? And then I can retroactively answer this when the stakes are low. You know? I'm having these flashbacks to 2016, right? Having these flashbacks to 2016 where I was, and just going like, man, I can't wait until Hillary is president so that I can finally stop pretending to like her. I don't know. If you get any advice, I don't know, man. I don't know. I might not even put this one in. Listen, go vote for Kamala. Vote Kamala, and just try not to think about it. Just try not to think about it and vote Kamala. Just vote Kamala and try not to think about the fact that best case scenario, she wins this shit, and it's 8 years until we actually get a real leftist, maybe to maybe be president, and then not, and then it won't. You know, it won't happen. But, you know, I mean, I guess either way, no matter what. It's no matter what. No matter what, it's going to be 8 years until there's an opportunity for us to have someone who doesn't think universal basic income promotes laziness. You know? We have 8 more years until that. If you could give the vice president any advice, I would advise him. If you could give the vice president any advice, I would advise him to give me $1,000 a month. And also every other American citizen $1,000 a month. I think would really help. And also advise him to figure out the healthcare thing. Like Obama, he tried, I guess, but he didn't. It's not great, you know. It only really works if you have no money, you know. There was a brief period of time when I had no money and my health insurance was really good. And I have a little bit of money now and my health insurance is not as good. So that'd be good. The health insurance stuff, advise him that if he doesn't, advise what's his name. And I'm not going to learn his name. If you could just advise what's his name to tell Kamala that if they don't give us universal basic income and health care and stuff and all the other stuff, then he'll turn into some kind of dog. He'll turn and mutate into a beast or something. I don't know. Just give me give me money. Give me money every month. Please. is this, I don't know. Fuck. I mean, vote for him. You gotta do it. You gotta vote for him. You gotta do it. Okay. All right. Yeah, maybe this one, I don't know if this one goes in. We'll see. And also, as long as we're talking about the Kamala thing, and I probably shouldn't do this, but like, as long as we're talking about the Kamala thing, can I just say, do we live in like a democracy? And if so, why were we just, like, as soon as Joe dropped out, we're just like, oh, fuck, Kamala. Yeah, it's Kamala. It's just Kamala now. We're just doing Kamala. Like, do we not get to talk about it? Like, do we not get to, like, have a convention and, like, a primary and, like, pick who we get? Is that not how it works when the guy drops out? I guess it isn't. Yeah, because if he I don't know. Well, no, because Joe's still the president. It's not like Joe... I feel like this would make sense if Joe had retired early, right? And had basically passed the office of the presidency on to Kamala, you know? Then it would make sense, because now it's no longer Kamala, you know, that it's not like Kamala running for election, it's running for re-election after having served as president for like the last couple of months. But that's not what's going on. Joe is still unless I'm so wrong, right? I don't watch the news anymore. But like, Joe's still the president, right? So then why is there no discussion? Why didn't we fucking dig up Bernie's grave and trot him around for a little bit? You know? Why don't we let Andrew Yang out of his enclosure and just like let him do it, just like, and we would still probably end up, like, whatever ends up happening, they would lie to us and say that Kamala won, and we would still end up, but like, at least we would have the illusion that we chose this, you know? Is that like a loophole? Like, if the president decides not to run for re-election, then his party just gets to throw up a replacement without having to talk to anyone about it? And again, that's what the Democratic Party always does. The person who ends up running is always the fucking golden child that they decide it's their turn. But like, it's not going to be a conversation at all. We're not going to let the dogs loose for a little bit. You know? Again, just like let Andrew Yang out. Let Andrew Yang off the chain so that he can like talk about universal basic income for like a while, just so that everyone else feels like they need to address universal basic income, you know? Like, because I know that they're not going to put up someone. I know that it was going to be Kamala no matter what. No matter what people wanted, it's going to be Kamala. But just like, you just got to let Andrew Yang just like fucking, I don't know, like I have this like image in my head conjured of Andrew Yang as like a pit bull, of just him coming out, just like frothing at the mouth, yanking at his chain, just like, fucking, we gotta talk about universal basic income. That's not his vibe at all, but that's how I'm imagining him in this moment, because that is his job. His job is to, like, you know, Andrew Yang's job is not to become president. That was never gonna happen, no. And it was also, as much as it loads me to say it, it was never going to happen with Bernie either. The point of those two guys is to come out and just, like, remind people that it could be better. It's just be like, hey, like, you know, leftists also believe in stuff that helps, you know? Not even that, like, leftists have beliefs. We have, like, stances beyond just, like, the basic decency of like anti-racism and anti-sexism and anti-homophobia. Like, those are all great things and things worth voting for, but like, it sucks that like that is the whole platform now. That the whole thing is just like, yeah, we're not evil. Fine! Can our standards be a little bit fucking higher than not evil? Can I at least hear about some of your good ideas? Instead of just being like, it's a fucking problem, you gotta give us more money so that Trump doesn't win. Like, yeah, but like, okay, but like, then after you beat him, what's gonna happen? Right? Like, what is the plan? And does it help me at all? Or does it ultimately just help the same 11 rich guys that the Republicans wanted to help? I'm gonna stop before listen, I'm too dumb to be having this conversation aloud. in the parking lot of a supermarket. All right. Next question. All right. This is the last one. This is the last thing. Why is it that every person that the Democratic Party has put up for election in the last decade has looked like they are made of wax? They all look like wax people. That's not like a good thing or a bad thing. You know, that's not me coming after their character. They just look like they're made of wax. They don't look like people. They look like wax figurines. Okay, I'm done. All right. That's enough of that. I am a liberal, I guess, or like a leftist. I'm one of the good ones, is what I'm saying. Just in case that wasn't clear to anyone. Okay. Sometimes you introduce people to a little bit of nuance and they freak out. Okay, I'm done. All right, this will probably be the last one. Dear Chris and Will, I get the final grades from my exam in a few days' time, which will dictate whether or not I will get to attend university and live a happy and fulfilling life. In the world to come, will they still hold the future over our heads in such cruel and nerve-wracking ways? In the apocalypse, there will be a man. What's his name? It doesn't matter. I've been thinking about this. We get too lost in the sauce when it comes to names on this podcast. We spend all this time thinking of like names for a thing, and then we have to and then after we come up with a name, we have to decide why they're named. Nobody is named anything for any reason. When people are named what they're named because of a passing fancy that their parents had before they had the ability to think. Names are the most meaningless thing in the world. They don't matter. I'm done with them. But there's going to be the point is there's going to be a guy. There's going to be a guy whose whole thing is just like, you're going to wake up one morning and he's going to be there next to you, laying beside you in your bed with a fucking 42 Magnum pressed up against your temple. And he's just going to say, impress me. And you're going to be like, how? And he's not going to say a single word. He's going to stay completely silent. And from then on, for the rest of your life, it's your job to impress this man. Are you succeeding? There's no way to say. There's no way to know. He doesn't say a single word. He said one thing to you the day you met, which was impress me, and he's been quiet ever since. And he just stays there beside you with that cold steel pressed up against the side of your head, and you know that you have to impress him. That's your job every day. You got to go out of your way and make sure and fucking go out of your way. You fucking show him something he's never seen before. You know? Do something extraordinary. Make sure that he has that he sees something that he's like, damn, didn't expect to see that he's impressed. You have to do that every single day. And the only way that you're going to be able that you'll know whether or not you did a good job is if you keep living. So yeah, that's kind of I feel like that's a pretty one-to-one comparison. I kind of wish there was more to say, but I feel like sometimes it comes out good, and you don't need to add anything. All right, that's about it. I've been driving around since it's 11:13 a.m. right now. I've been driving around since 8 in the morning. I've been recording that whole time. I also had some breakfast, and I've been listening back to the point is I'm fucking done with this, and I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to be done, and I want to play video games. So if you like this, if you enjoyed this, you can what am I supposed to say at the end of these? If you want to support us on Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/lifeintheworldtocome. You can also buy our merch at lifeintheworldtocome, bigcartel.com. I haven't put any new merch up in a while. I should put some new merch up. I could use the cash. What else? Our intro and outro music is We Are the Hellhounds by the Taxpayers. And is that all the things? Did I say all the podcast things? I think I said all the podcast things. And listen, you probably already have, and in fact, by the time you're listening to it, the opportunity might be over because, from what I hear, they're selling like hotcakes. But head on over to yoinkoftheyukon.com and get yourself some tickets for Will Wood's Slouching Towards Bethlehem tour. It's a literary reference for those of you who don't know. All right. Okay. The outro music is fading in. Goodbye.